Let's go!
It's your friendly reminder that if you're a baseball fan, you're just about a month out from pitchers and catchers, and you were about an hour out from the weekend. Welcome to the weekend. Zensky, Karski here with you. It's those little things that get me through this period of winter. You know, it's still dark outside. It's cold. You want the light at the end of the tunnel, and for me, that is always baseball and pitchers and catchers reporting. Something tells me you're just having a tough time dealing with 2021 already. No, I mean, ask me that before today, but listen, baseball has always been the thing that gives me that little pep in my step when I think about it, as we think about pitchers and catchers reporting to Florida and Arizona and getting their bullpen sessions on. I really hope that baseball starts on time this year. Let's hope. You never know what's going to happen with, good old Rob Manfred, Let's Go Red, Cornell grad, and all the chaos that ensues because he is the commissioner of baseball and is maybe one of the worst commissioners in North American sports. Well, he is. I don't know. That's what everybody says. Better than Roger Goodell? No, worse than Roger Goodell. Really? Oh, I mean, come on. Look at how everything is panned out. Look at how all the stuff panned out publicly last year. Is there going to be a season? Is there not going to be a season? Yeah. Is there going to be how many games? No, they're going to be this many games instead. Like, come on, get out of here. PR nightmare, but I mean, it seems like organizations aren't wasting any time with explaining how they're going to get sports up and running this year. And like the NCAA coming out with some information earlier this week about them doing the entire, was it March Madness? They're doing it all in Indiana. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, they've been working on this stuff for a while, so as long as it's done in a efficient, responsible, safe manner, I mean, go for it. I mean, I know a lot of the teams did it or leagues did it to some extent well, or some not so well last year, but hopefully they've learned from that, and hopefully this will be the last time we need to consider how do we quarantine and do all this fun stuff in the midst of professional sports. I just feel like things are not... Maybe they are changing, and maybe I'm just the ever pessimistic person. There it is. There I am. I'm back. Jesus. Back and better than ever. We're going to go one show without you saying pessimist. It's just my nature, man. What do you want me to do? I can't help it. I am what I am. I know. But I don't know. I would like to think there's a light at the end of the tunnel with all this stuff being figured out. I would like to think that our country's going to figure it out and get its act together. I would like to think that, there's not going to be any sort of chaos with this, that, or the other. But I just feel like that's kind of happened so far to begin the new year. And that's the one thing that kind of upsets me. Maybe not necessarily upsets me, but, just really irks me a little bit. When I'm going to be perfectly blunt here. When I was watching all of the coverage of 2021 on New Year's, everybody's saying, here's to a prosperous 2021. Thank goodness we get to forget about 2020. 2020's in the rear view mirror. Everybody have a wonderful and great new year, yada, 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 yada. All this garbage they're spewing out as if things were magically going to just switch to just everything being better. Like, okay, it's a new year, no pandemic, awesome. Well, and we talked about a little about this last week, and no, there's no magic like Matrix pill that you take to that brings you into another. But that's what it felt like, though. Dimension. No, I agree, and I was caught up with that a little bit, but I think we as humans are just wired in a way that as soon as you could tie something to tie something to the past, right? Because, it's going to become 2021 regardless of whether you like it or not, right? Yeah. So I think the fact that, we were trying to find something to have some control over. So if we could control bottling up all of these bad memories and instances and all the crap that happened in 2020 and just kind of tying that off to the changeover of the year, I think it was just like kind of how we're wired as humans, if that makes sense. Like, let's just call it as it is. It's a new year, new
chapter to turn over in the book, and here we are.
It's a new year, new me.
Oh God.
Here's what you missed.
Well, talking about how 2021 is off to, listen, it wasn't off to a bad start, but then unfortunately January 6th came along, and I think we'd be a little remiss if we don't mention this day, and apologies for starting off the show on a relatively negative note, but we need to mention the just obscene images that came out of Washington, D.C. today with mobsters and terrorists essentially storming the United States Capitol building. Nothing I ever thought I would see in my lifetime, and something I hope anybody watching or listening ever has to witness again. If we're going to be blunt about things, that was just domestic terrorism at its worst.
If we're going to be blunt about things, I'm going to be honest. I felt like something crazy like this would happen.
I hate to say it. That's what you get when you have people denying democracy since November 3rd or whenever the election was. It's wild, and I think the thing that resonates most with me today is that we often see images and things we have seen in our lifetime is like we see these images coming out of the Middle East, or we see it coming out of Syria, or we see it coming out of countries in Africa, and
places that aren't us.
Right, and now these other countries are looking at America going, "Oh, I don't want to be there." And frankly, I don't want to be here right now. Like I want to be a Canadian. I've always heard good things about Toronto.
Yeah, good things. Like that one time they had a terrible donut or something like that. What was it?
They have a baseball team. How bad could it be?
Yes, but what was the one thing that we were making fun of them for having? A pumpkin spice something. What was it?
Oh, it was the
a long time ago.
Pumpkin spice Cheetos or no?
Cereal?
It was like episode 2. We got to go back and listen to it, but yeah. But if that's the worst thing Canada's doing, sign me up. Sign me up. On a more, well, not really a positive note, but just reporting the straight news here. As more prolonged effects of COVID-19 are kind of dragging into this year, unfortunately, the Grammys were postponed. And we talked last week about how that was kind of like the last big event that happened in 2020, and unfortunately, it's going to be affecting this year. Traditionally, this is an award show that takes place at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and it's just horrifying seeing some of the stuff that's coming out of Los Angeles right now. So the last thing they want is a large gathering with the way things are going in that state. So that was scheduled, I believe, to take place on it's January 31st. It has now been postponed to March 14th. So hopefully it's back to somewhat normal by then, but we'll wait and see.
And even then, it's one of those things where it's just not going to be a full Grammys show like we're used to.
As it shouldn't be, to be honest.
If you're performing, you're performing. Maybe there'll be some presenters, and anybody who's up for an award is staying at home and getting their awards that way and going through their acceptance speeches that way. Look, LA is the epicenter of all of this right now. You can't have a massive event and partaking such as the Grammys safely in this climate that we're in right now.
Right.
And it's the right move, and it's the move that needs to be made. And again, it just makes me wonder, when are we going to be able to see things get back to a certain normal, and what is that certain normal going to look like? Is this the route that we're going to see things for the next couple of years, where some of the Grammys are done virtually and people can't attend in person, and those who do attend in person are going through some very strict protocols so that they can perform or present or whatever it is?
100%.
It's just crazy to think about.
Well, I was over kind of the break I had from work over the Christmas New Year's holiday. Jenna and I were binging a lot of shows, and we were watching The Flight Attendant, which is fantastic, by the way, on HBO Max if you're interested. And I was reading up on how they filmed it, because I know it was filmed very recently. It was initially paused in the spring because when everything started to shut down, but then they started filming again in October. And they just went through very strict, like everybody in the cast was just tested before they got on set. And so I think, we talked about this recently, but you're not going to be able to get into an arena or a concert hall or a nightclub or any venue where there's a large crowd without having to show some sort of proof of vaccination going forward. It's like you and I couldn't have gone to Ithaca College if we didn't have our vaccination records. It's going to be the same thing.
Getting back to the Grammys, look, if that's what it's going to take to have less Taylor Swift, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Fair enough. On a more positive note, Taylor Swift, yeah, jeez. Not really. I keep losing my notes. My God.
Keep batching Taylor Swift cardigans. Give me a break.
I hate that song. I know.
That
Here we go.
Is out there with she's just like, I think I'll wear a cardigan. Like, get out of here with that nonsense.
Oh boy. All right. Well, here we go. Fun news. A Massachusetts man class ring was returned to him after nearly 50 years. A Massachusetts man lost his high school ring nearly 5 decades ago, is reunited with his lost treasure by a member of the family that now resides in his former home. Jack Healy said he noticed his Attleboro High School class of 1961 ring was missing after he moved from Raynham, Mass. Back to Attleboro a little while after his graduation, never expecting the ring would find its way back to him. Healy recently learned the ring had been found by the new residents of the Raynham house, who kept the object in a box until a member of the family recently decided to try to return it to its owner. And then somebody on the Attleboro High School Alumni Association posted on a Facebook page, and then that connected the dots to get to the ring back to its owner. I think that's a cool story.
So who posted what on Facebook?
I guess somebody, the new owner of the house where this guy used to live, posted something on the Attleboro High School Alumni Association Facebook page.
And said, hey, we have this ring. Whose is it?
Yep. And then I guess this guy or somebody he knows saw it and contacted him, and he was reunited with it.
The power of social media.
Right. And this is 2 towns over from where Jenna and I live. It's right down the road.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, why the hell didn't you try to get this guy on for the show today?
Because I literally read this 15 minutes ago.
Well, that goes to show you where your show prep is going. Jeez. Downhill.
Hey, we do our part. All right. Up next, a Pennsylvania farm show is seeking butter sculptures for a virtual contest. Just think about it for a second.
I can't think about it. That's a totally normal thing.
Organizers of the 105th Pennsylvania Farm Show, which will be held virtually, are calling on residents to make butter sculptures for the Butter Up contest. The farm show said submissions will be accepted January 9th through the 16th of sculptures crafted from up to 5 pounds of butter, much smaller than the 1,000-pound sculptures typically displayed at the in-person version of the event. The winners will be selected by followers of the Farm Show Facebook page, and they will receive gift cards. The rules say participants are allowed to use chicken wire, sculpting wire, and a base to support the sculpture, but may not use food dye or any other food coloring. If you had 5 pounds of butter and were told to make a sculpture, what would you make it of?
A Bills logo.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I was going to say either a Bills logo or a Yankees logo. It's going to be one of the two.
Did you hear the joke about the butter?
Please don't. Come on. No more with the jokes. No more with the jokes.
I can't tell you because you might spread it.
How about them Bills? I know you want to talk about the Bills. Unless you just want to completely just gloss over the fact that
Did you hear that a man just assaulted somebody with milk, cream, and butter?
Can't say that I did.
How dare he?
How about the Buffalo Bills?
Yo, how about them Bills, baby? So good. So good to see him in the playoffs.
I'm just trying to get you off your horrible joke tangent.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just trying to get you to change the subject to talk about your Buffalo Bills, which I know you've been itching to talk about.
Where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with the fact that they squished the fish a couple of days ago? I mean, they pedal to the metal, all of that jargon, generic sports cliches, throw it on in there. That's exactly what they did to the Miami Dolphins in the regular season finale to finish the year 13-3. Their defense has been great since week 12. The offense has been even better. They're one of the few teams in the league averaging 30 points or more per game. And oh my goodness, am I scared as hell going into this game on Saturday against the Colts, because the Bills should hypothetically dominate it, but the Bills have been bounced from the postseason in the first round of the playoffs during the wild card weekend each of the last 2 times that they've appeared in the playoffs. And that kind of scares me to death.
So statistically, it's against them, but the team, as you've been watching them, should be dominant.
This team has a path to legitimately make it to the conference championship. If they play their football, the brand of football that they've played over this last winning streak, and even going back to the Hail Murray play where Kyler Murray threw a Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins and he somehow magically pulled it out of the air over 3 Bills defenders to get the win. The Bills would be on this ridiculous winning streak right now. And if they can play that kind of caliber of football, they win their wild card game, they win their divisional game, and they make it to the conference championship and ultimately play what is more than likely going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. So if they get past Indianapolis, odds are they'd be playing Kansas City.
That would be in the conference championship. Division championship would be after that, and more than likely it would be a Cleveland or a Pittsburgh or one of those teams. And look, all I'm saying is if for some reason the Chiefs bow out early of the playoffs and the Bills roll through the postseason, there's a possibility that they could play all of their games at the Ralph, at home, maybe in front of fans. Because if the top seed gets bumped, the next highest seed gets to host. Right. Or the highest seed always gets to host, but if the number 1 seed gets, is out of the picture, well then that means the number 2 seed is obviously going to be hosting all the games in the playoffs. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm extremely nervous for this game against the Colts. They've got a young running back who is probably one of the top 3 running backs in the entire National Football League. But it all comes down to what number 17s do. And I'm talking about number 17 in white for the Colts and Phillip Rivers, and number 17 in the red, white, and blue for the Bills and Josh Allen.
Is Phillip Rivers on the Colts now?
You didn't know that?
I do. I don't follow football that much.
Yeah, he's an Indianapolis Colt
now. Oh,
and another big storyline with this
Does he
team.
still look like a D-bag?
Oh, stop it. That's not very nice.
Oh, come on.
Why would you say that?
You actually like Phillip Rivers? I've never heard a good thing about the guy. And I sound super judgmental.
I don't mind
now.
Phillip Rivers, but I feel bad for the guy because in any sort of big game scenario he's been in, it's always he's got a game-winning drive going on, starting from his own 2-yard line with 58 seconds left to go, no timeouts, and he's got to find his way down the field to give his team a win. That's the kind of situation and scenario he has always been in all of his years playing in the National Football League.
Right. So not ideal for any quarterback, really.
Absolutely not. But it's going to be a really great game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm extremely nervous, like I said, because this is the part where there's no turning back, and this is the Bills' best opportunity to make a Super Bowl run for the first time in a really, really, really long time.
Are you, because I know you're superstitious when you watch your sports, are you doing anything different, or are you just like extra on edge about?
Oh, I'm just going to be extra on edge. This is because the last 6 weeks or so I've been watching Bills games confidently. There's been no screaming. There's been no animals peeing in the house because they're scared of my antics and my yelling and screaming. That's probably going to change this time around, and it's going to probably frighten anybody who lives near or around us. But It's those risks I have to take in order to watch this football game on Saturday.
So needless to say, we're going to get another Karski recording session of watching the Bills. I mean, I feel like if it's going to happen, it has to be for this game.
Yeah. Oh, no question about it.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because you have all this pent-up energy and emotion for the Buffalo Bills that you haven't expressed over the past 6 weeks, like you said. And if it's going to come out, it needs to come out in a comedic and probably somewhat concerning fashion that we will then play on the show next week.
I don't think you realize how much significance this game has for Bills fans. This is the first time they've hosted a playoff game since December 28th of 1996.
Wow.
A lot has changed in the world since December
25 years.
of 1996. They ended up losing to the Jags in that game 30-27. I don't remember who it was. It was, gosh, what the hell was his name? He used to play for the Bills for a hot second too. Kicked a game-winning field goal from like 50-some yards, 48, 47 yards, something like that. But I feel like we can have some fun with this, as we always do, and go down memory lane a little bit and take a look back at some of the happenings that were going on the last time the Bills held a home playoff game at the Ralph, which is now called Bill Stadium. But to me, if you're a real Bills fan, you call it the Ralph. Okay?
It'll always be the Ralph to you guys.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and naturally you need to give me the answer.
Okay.
And you better be right on some of these.
Hey, if I'm ready for anything from last week, it's trivia.
Yeah, it's Cam's fault, by the way. All right, first question for you.
Okay.
You know me all too well, Zensky. The number one song in the country on December 28th, 1996. What was it, and who was it by?
Mother effer. God, I could look really bad as a DJ if I don't get this.
No, you won't.
I won't get this?
No, I'm saying you won't look bad.
Okay.
I mean, there's a really strong possibility you won't get this either.
I'm thinking back to like Now. What Now record was this? Right? Like, all right, can I get a hint?
You're doing a lot of thinking, but you're not doing a lot of guessing.
Okay.
I will say...
I'll give you a hint. Okay.
I'll just give you a hint. You were starting to say the answer, but I'm just going to give you the hint. The initials of this person, this singer, the same initials as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting quarterback.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So the initials are what?
BS?
BS. I mean, yes, Tom Brady is BS. Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't making the Tom Brady connection.
Tom Brady's initials.
Ooh.
The singer has those same initials.
Tony Braxton?
What's the song? Come on, everybody knows it.
I'm blanking. Crap.
I'll give it to you anyway. Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton. Well done. I'll give it to you. I mean, because getting Tony Braxton was probably already difficult enough.
Yeah, I was going to say Britney Spears, but I was probably a little early if it's 96, right? She was more like 99?
98, 99. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, second question for you. Who won the 1996 World Series championship?
Diamondbacks were 01. Yankees were 2000. Oh. Was it the Yankees? What did they 96, 97? Yep.
They won in 96. They didn't win in 97.
What was the streak? It was like all through the 90s.
Well, it was 96 they won. 97 it was the Marlins. 98, 99 to 2000.
Got it. Okay. And then Arizona won in 2001.
Exactly. Third one. 1996. The number one TV show in America was...
Can you give me a network? What network was it on?
I don't know what network it was on. No.
Give me a hint, because I could go like Seinfeld or Full House or like...
Well, take a guess. This isn't a hint game.
Full House.
Incorrect. I'll let you guess one of the top 2 now TV shows.
Okay. Friends? Really?
That's a big offer. We're going to go with a big X there. Number 1 show in America was ER. Number 2 show in the country in 96 was Seinfeld.
I was thinking about Seinfeld.
I'll give you a top 3. Number 3, Suddenly Susan. Number 4, 2 of them were tied, Friends and The Naked Truth. And Monday Night Football was number 7. Because
no
of course
kidding.
It was. Yeah, Monday Night Football is always up there.
Okay.
1996 was the year the year that the Bills last hosted a home playoff game. What were the top baby names in America?
Oh, boy. Top baby names. Okay. I'm going to say for a girl, Brittany. Okay. And for a boy, I'm going to say Michael. Ooh, really?
Yeah. Michael and Emily.
Emily.
Yeah,
okay.
Emily was the number 1 girl.
Do you have other names on there or no?
Oh, I'm sure there are others on the list. I just wrote down the top boy and girl's name. That's all I care about.
Michael and Emily.
Okay, 1996, Tony Award winner for Best Musical. It went to who? What musical? I should say what musical, not a who. God, you're an idiot.
Phantom?
No, wait. What? No. I pushed the wrong button. I pushed the wrong button.
That's a tease.
I pushed the wrong button. The answer is Rent.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tough one, but it's fine.
No, that's an obvious question if I thought about it for a little bit.
1996, U.S. Olympics were held. The Olympics, I should say, were held in the United States, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
What was the nickname of the 1996 U.S. gymnastics team?
The Dream Team?
That was a 92 basketball team, men's basketball team.
No.
This was the Magnificent Seven. You don't remember this at all?
I think I've heard of that. My knowledge of the 96 Olympics, though, is much higher after having watched Manhunt recently. Have you heard of this show?
I've heard of it, but it has nothing to do with the 96 U.S. gymnastics team.
It has stuff to do with the 96 Olympics, though.
Look, 7-year-old, or was I 8 at this point? No, I would have been 7 years old. 7-year-old Nick Karski loved the gymnastics team.
Oh, did he?
And he was in love with Shannon Miller, Dominic Mucciano, Dominic Dawes.
Hope Courtney's not listening right now.
Some big crushes on
I
those
see
gymnasts
that.
when I was a kid.
Toy Story. Hey now,
God almighty.
you've got a friend in me.
All right, last one. 3-parter. This is easy.
Okay, okay.
We're
sure.
gonna no. This is about as easy as it gets. So you should easily get this.
Oh, you're setting the bar somewhere.
1996. The President, Vice President, and Speaker of the House of the United States.
Oh, okay. President's Bill Clinton. Vice President's Al Gore. Speaker of the House. Was it Newt Gingrich?
Wow.
Really?
Nice
Nice.
little walk-off win.
There we go. Look at that. I know my politics. As much as I hate politics, I know some American history.
Got yourself, I think a 6 out of 10. I don't know. I kind of lost track, to be honest.
All right, I'll take it.
I was too excited thinking about, myself as a kid and just having that crush on Shannon Miller.
Dude,
it all happened. Here's what I'll say, and I have no shame in admitting this because I am always transparent and I'm okay with embarrassing myself all the time. I used to think that there would be a chance for yours truly when I was 7 or 8 years old to make a move on her because I had met her in Elmira. She came here for a sports banquet that they used to have, and they used to get all these big names. I mean, we're talking about Bill Walton, Joe Morgan, Ozzie Smith, these, legendary athletes who a lot of them were Hall of Famers. Well, one year Shannon Miller came, and man, when I saw her, I'm thinking to myself, that's the woman I want to be with. I was 8 or 7.
Dude, you got some.
I was a weird kid,
ambitions
man.
at 8.
I was a weird kid, man.
I know. I'm marginally concerned about your childhood, even though it's in the past. But like, man, you got some stories from that time of your life.
I had a very creative mind. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering where I am now. As well, yeah, that's also true. I don't know. I had my moments, but let me tell you something. I thought for a second there. I'm like, Shannon Miller could wife her up.
Yes, because I'm sure you used that exact phrase at 8 years old.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put a ring on that.
I was a ladies' man back then.
Yeah. Yeah, before even Single Ladies came out, you were talking about putting a ring on it.
My favorite movie was Toy Story, and boy, oh boy, was I just
You wanted a Bo Peep to your Woody. Yeah, but so here's my gymnastics story, because. So I was the photo editor of the Ithacan, which is the school newspaper at Ithaca College, for a semester, and I was the assistant photo editor for a year before that. So in that leadership role, you were responsible for kind of picking up a lot of the last minute or, shoots that people weren't available for. Okay. And we were a very lively campus, so it was always ranged from like the president speaking or this council meeting but there was a lot of sporting events too. So I spent a lot of time in the Hill Center between basketball, but that's also where the gymnastics meets took place. Yeah. And I shot my fair share of gymnastics meets because they happened a lot of time on a Saturday and people didn't want to pick those up because they wanted to do something on their weekend. If I had nothing going on, sure, I'll go practice my photography. But I realized very quickly after my first shoot of a gymnastics meet, not the most like innocent look for a guy with a big camera walking in taking photos of his female peers in their leotards. Yeah. I always felt like a perv walking into those things. Yeah. And like obviously like that was never the intention, but like I had a job to do. It was like nobody else was going to shoot this, and it was going to be like either the back page of the paper that week, because we always did like the big sports photo for the back page, right? Yeah. So that's one of my memories from college that I've tried to forget, and I guess I did a poor job at doing so.
Look, I don't mind watching gymnastics. It's one of those, it's almost like figure skating to me, or maybe like curling to me, where I watch the event and I kind of know what's good and what's bad. But when it comes to the scoring and the elements of the technicalities and this, that, and the other, I'm just completely clueless. Like, why did this person get a 9.74 while the other person got a 9.82? Like, they both looked really, really good to me. So why wouldn't you just give them like a perfect 10 or something like that?
Well, and I guess that's why they have professional judges to make those calls. But yeah, if you or I, just as like a regular viewer, were to watch somebody, like, yeah, we can't make like decimal point judgments like that, because first of all, I can't do half the stuff that you're doing. You think I could stand on a balance beam that's this wide and like do a backflip and land on my feet? I can't even do a backflip if I was standing on level ground.
Wow. Now we're getting to learn a little bit more about your athleticism, or lack thereof. You can't do a backflip? Come on.
You could do a backflip?
No, of course not.
Who do you know that could do a backflip?
Pretty much nobody. I know absolutely nobody who can actually do a backflip.
And so, like, that's what's crazy. It's like, I mean, because I would go to these things, it's impressive because the types of things that they do, like the upper body strength you need to have as a gymnast is like...
The strength you need, period.
Oh,
It's just absurd.
So I think they're some of the very, like, underestimated athletes with the amount of, like, you know, stamina and just brute strength you need, you know, to do whatever your event is, a floor routine or a balance beam or name another gymnastics thing.
This has been a very sports-centric to the weekend today.
It has been, yeah.
But I do want to ask, since we're on the subject of it, are you somebody who enjoys watching the Olympics, or are you somebody who kind of hates it now and everybody thinks it's just this big money grab and this, that, and the other? Because I'm somebody who genuinely... like sits down and tries to watch as many events as I possibly can during the Olympics.
I do too. I genuinely do enjoy it. I probably, you know, say I'm going to watch more of it than I actually do going into it. But I like it because it's oftentimes taking place at somewhere else around the world. So I just like it from the fact that, like, whenever you would turn the TV on, there's something different to watch, right? Because how often can you watch like a water polo or a track, you know, competition? So it was always something entertaining, and like, I don't think it's a money grab. I do think genuinely the Olympics is one of those brands and one of those traditions that has transcended, you know, negativity in the world. Yeah. So I think, needless to say, I'm sure it'll be very emotional to get all those countries back out for the opening ceremony for next year in Tokyo. Considering
this year
everything
in Tokyo.
Oh, this year.
We're
I'm sorry.
in 2021 now.
This year in Tokyo.
Crazy to think about.
So again, yeah, I think it'll be emotional to see all those countries coming together for the opening ceremony in Tokyo this year, because it's, you know, considering the reasons why we need to push it back, it's going to be really nice to see that one of these century-old traditions is back at it again.
Hope that it works out, and I hope that it happens safely. That's my biggest wish.
And you know, I mean, they've been trying to figure that out, and since they've had to postpone it. So I don't think, you know, I don't think it's going to be anything other than safe, and let's hope that they're just doing their due diligence. But what's your take on the Olympics?
I love it. I think it's one of those things that just is truly, genuinely one of the most premier sporting events in the entire world. I think that there is a bit of unity that comes with it, and that's something that I appreciate and something I do like to see when it happens, which is few and far between anymore. You know, and I hate to bring it up because I never like talking about me per se, but until you've actually been to an Olympics game or an Olympic games,
I forgot.
Yeah, you really put it into perspective. And the fact that I was able to go to Vancouver in 2010 and spend, you know, my fair share of going to events and seeing this, that, and the other, and seeing so many incredible athletes in person and everything, and meeting so many different people from different parts of the world, different cultures. It was just a very humbling experience and something that made me appreciate the games even more than I did, because I genuinely have always been a big fan of the Olympics.
Well, we'll talk about that for a second, because I don't think a lot of people know what you're. No. Come on, no, it's cool. It's cool, and I think
Zensky, this was like 10 years ago, man. Like,
come on, but like it was one of the most. We did a lot of cool things as parkies, but without a doubt, this was one of the most coveted things that you could do.
Yeah, it was, and you know, I got the chance to go because of going to school at IC. But, you know, naturally, I had to pay a bunch of money for them to let me go and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's beside the point. No, it was tremendous. It was a great, you know, month up there in Vancouver. And like I said, if you can even just go to the Olympics for a week or 2 weeks, I highly recommend that you do it just to give it a shot and see what it's like, because it's certainly a memorable experience.
And so you actually met people like just from outside of the NBC bubble?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, of course. All right, enough about this. Enough about me. Can we move along?
You never like the spotlight.
No, I don't. Can we throw it to some rules of absurdity that we haven't done in a while?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
This whole discussion is absolutely ridiculous.
I want to start because I found a really good one.
Okay.
In the state of Georgia, you are not allowed to eat fried chicken with a fork.
Well, that's like, I mean, you might as well eat pizza with a fork then, right? Like, that's not a fork food.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to keep your fingers nice and clean, I can imagine it's probably thought of that, hey, I should eat it with a fork. But apparently you can't. In 2009, even a woman was arrested as a practical joke for violating the law, but she was pardoned.
Interesting.
Oh.
Well, there you go if you're in Georgia. Talking about the Olympics, here's an Olympic sport, skiing. There is no drunk skiing in Wyoming. State law holds that, quote, no person shall move uphill on any passenger tramway or use any ski slope or trail while such person's ability to do so is impaired by the consumption of alcohol or by the use of any illicit controlled substance or other drug, end quote.
I feel like that's obvious.
I guess
it is.
Is
a rule of absurdity? I feel like it's a rule of just...
It's a little absurd because you don't normally think about
it. Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. Next one I'm going to go with state of Kansas. You are not allowed to put ice cream on top of your cherry pie.
Ooh, that's going to offend a lot of people.
I don't know, because isn't the ice cream usually on an apple pie, not necessarily a cherry pie?
Any pie could be a la mode, though.
I'm not a big pie guy, so.
Okay.
Speaking of pie.
Are you? Oh.
Speaking of pie, Indiana. One of their laws says that pi is actually equal to 3.2. The House of Representatives passed a bill in 1897 redefining the value of pi at 3.2.
No, that's not a thing. That's not a thing.
That's what they said.
Okay, I want to see them going up against the mathematician with that then, because they'll say 3.141 and whatever the rest of the digits are. Okay, you're not a pie guy, but are you a cheese guy?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Wisconsin takes its cheese seriously. Yes. In case you didn't know, state law requires that cheese labeled as Wisconsin Certified Premium Grade AA meet a certain standard. It must be, quote, fine, highly pleasing, and free from undesirable flavors and odors.
I feel like some of the best cheese has odor, though.
I disagree. I feel like some of the worst cheese has odor.
Oh, my gosh. Do you like blue cheese?
No.
Oh, my God. Conversation over with.
You like blue cheese?
Oh, my God. I love blue. I like any sort of cheese.
What if you have to have a favorite cheese, though? What's your favorite?
Goat cheese.
Oh, God, that's awful.
Well, on that note, I feel like now is a good time to wrap up the show.
Goat cheese. That's what we end on.
We can't agree on the kind of cheeses that are a delight.
What's your favorite cheese? Let us know in the comments. And while you're there, let us know how you like the show. Subscribe to us on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Rate, review, all that good stuff. And if you want to hear something on the show, Nick and I are always looking for some good ideas of what to talk about, what to bring you guys. So let us know. We'd be happy to take that into consideration. And hey, if you want to be on the show with a fun idea, let us know. We'd consider that too.
Be careful with that. Be careful.
Yeah, that's true. We'll have Ben Ratner on again. But hey, Cam Denmark, hey, you stay classy, my friend.
You stay classy, my friend.
See ya.
I can't believe you don't like blue cheese.